Hello and welcome to GeoBiz. We have in your studios today George Demmy, CTO of TerraGo Technologies. Welcome George, welcome to GeoBiz.
Thank you.
TerraGo is a pioneer in geospatial collaboration and mobility software. Can you tell me why collaboration and mobility is so important in the geospatial context?
So increasingly, organizations of all stripes, whether they're military organizations, for-profit businesses, academia, all sorts of enterprises, their operations and workforce are increasingly distributed and mobile. So one of the, obviously any kind of tools and technologies which allow them to collaborate, share work, share information more easily in those distributed environments will be of utility across that spectrum.
One of the products of TerraGo is the Terrago Edge software,
Yes.
Which is for the mobile GPS data collection and collaboration. Can you suggest what is the uniqueness about this product? Why not a conventional GPS data collector?
Edge is focused at a particular problem, and that is what we call, and I generally don't like to use jargon, but it helps clarify in this instance what it is we're trying to do, and that's private group sourcing. And so the idea would be, how do you take an internal set of users, known, trusted, named set of users, and allow them to become sensors in the eyes of the enterprise? So if you think about something like, all of the information that's being collected by UAVs and how much drones and UAVs are in the news, and rightly so. Well, at every enterprise's disposal is a whole set of autonomous sensors in their employees with mobile devices. And so the idea is with Edge is to turn that set of that latent capability for data collection into an actual capability that can be leveraged by the enterprise. So now what we need to do is we need to use those capabilities and technologies that you would find in GPS data collection. So the ability to determine location, to collect structured information, unstructured information, location-based information, time, all this sort of stuff, and then put that in context. So it looks very much like it has GPS data collection solutions have been implemented using TerraGo Edge, but it is primarily this capability to turn a group of users into sensors for an enterprise for a variety of purposes.
Okay. In that sense, I see that it eliminates use of a lot of hardware for the users and becomes very economical for the users as well. Would you like to throw some light on how easy it is for the users to use this tool?
So one of the things that we've spent a lot of time on doing is trying to bring this kind of a consumer ease of use, almost like as easy to use as your Facebook app is. So we've spent a lot of time. We've got dedicated user experience folks who just work to optimize the data collection workflow. So it is very, very simple to collect. Then on the back end, syncing with the server and things like that is handled seamlessly. It's been designed from the ground up to work completely disconnected. So the user doesn't have to think about, do they have a connection, do they not have a connection? They just go, they just do their job. They can collect information offline. Their maps are accessible offline. But then when they come back online, everything is synced with the server. Moreover, in a fully disconnected environment, disconnected from the internet and cell service and things like that, peer-to-peer collaboration is made possible by things like Bluetooth.
Okay.
So it's really very simple, it's very flexible, and one of the key aspects of that flexibility is the ability to just go completely disconnected.
As a general trend, we are seeing that there is an increasing tendency to not use too much of hardware, but substitute a lot of hardware along with a ubiquitous device like a mobile. So how is TerraGo using this trend and for its tools?
Well, that's the point, and one of the key features of the Edge solution is that it is based on all the ubiquitous mobile devices. So you don't need to have, if your data collection requirements don't require high precision GPS or GNSS, then you can just use the on-device GPS or location services. So iPad, iPhone, whatever the Android device. So that brings that kind of capability. But if you do need the higher precision, if you do need that hardware, you can always connect those sorts of devices to the commodity hardware using something like Bluetooth.
Another unique product I have seen from TerraGo is its Publisher software. Can you share more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is so TerraGo got its start in creating a system for sharing maps and information with users in a kind of a document context, something we call GeoPDF back in 2000. The actual origins go before the founding of TerraGo in 2005, go back to around 2000. But we've got this extension to ArcGIS called TerraGo Publisher. And it's got a client in TerraGo Toolbar, which is hosted in Adobe Reader. And the idea is you take maps inside of ArcGIS, ArcMap. You create a GeoPDF document that you can then deliver to Toolbar to provide a kind of a GIS-lite experience, the ability to, instead of having to read over, read up to get your coordinate, it's just displayed dynamically wherever the mouse goes, things like that. So you get this kind of GIS-lite experience that you can provide to people who would otherwise only get a static map. And so that's Publisher. And then it also allows them, people can then mark that up, and then people can bring those markups back into ArcGIS with that geospatial context retained. So that now allows this kind of geospatial collaboration with consumers of their document, creating a two-way conversation rather than just a one-way push of information.
Okay. You talked about enterprises becoming more distributed. So how does it serve, the GeoPublisher serve in terms of an enterprise scenario? One
of the things that people can do with this, enterprises can do, is they can share essentially a GIS-like application via email, say. So they can create a map in ArcMap, and then they can send that to someone. That map, they could attach it to a PowerPoint, something like that. Create a PDF document from that, and then shoot that out to anyone anywhere in the world. And instead of just receiving a blank map, or just a flat map, they've got this interactive document that they can explore. They can look at feature attributes. They can display, do measurements and all sorts of stuff. And then they can also send that back. So we see things where, if you think about like in an oil and gas context, where you've got a mapping group that's communicating with a geophysics group that's having to talk to the pipeline group that needs to talk to the legal group. So these people are in different silos, they do different things, but they all still need to get access to this information. So this is just a way of helping break down those barriers.
So how is the geocontextualization of the unstructured data is also involved in this?
That is a great point. So one of the primary, products or things that our customers build, they use GeoPDF documents to organize information, right? So using a map to contextualize where things are. So you can look at things in a list, and you can look at things where they are on the map. Well, one of the requirements that we had was to take reports and documents and things like that and then display those on a map. So in 2011, we acquired a company called GeoSymbol, and they had a product called GeoX-Ray, and it was very, very clever. It's a very clever product, and the way it works is you write descriptions of places, and it essentially as a document, a textual description of a place. It can include addresses and things like that, the obvious things, but then the less obvious things. What sort of activities occur at that location and things like that. And then then you take a variety of other documents, maybe it's a Twitter stream, maybe it's Facebook posts, maybe it's just 8.5 by 11 or A4 type documents, contracts, things like that. Compare those using the same sorts of algorithms that you use for coming up with relevance indices for search algorithms. and then that creates a relevance of a document to a location. And then once that relevance is established, you can then visualize all the documents on a map.
Okay.
So that's how all that works. And then so we take that stuff and then take those associations, and then you can publish them on the web in a GeoPDF, or just use them however you might through a web service.
Okay, interesting. One of the examples you have cited is in the oil and gas context in terms of the collaboration. But I see that TerraGo has defense as a major application area. How is GeoPDF serving as a unique tool for the defense sector intelligence community?
So there's some unique requirements in the defense intelligence space, but then there's a lot of overlapping requirements. And one of the things that make the publisher GeoPDF solution so attractive for defense and intelligence is that not only can they provide these interactive geospatial applications as a GeoPDF document, since it is based on PDF, they can be printed out in field with perfect fidelity. So that's one thing. Another thing that is kind of unique to especially on the defense space is the some in emergency response. There's a lot of overlap there. This need to get a coordinate, and reading out coordinates on a map requires some work, right? Because you have to go to the side and read over, read up, interpolate, things like that. Well, the ability to take this, just take a mouse and put it exactly where you want and get that coordinate. Of course, you can do that with a GIS software, but you can also do that with just toolbar hosted in Adobe Reader. So it makes it very, very easy to get this kind of quantitative, reliable information out of a map using software that doesn't require any training.
Okay, so is this tool compatible, or rather usable with any kind of open and proprietary GIS softwares as well?
So,
rather platform agnostic, or it can be used across any platform and any software and operating system?
Yeah. So one of the things that we are very conscious of, especially in the defense and intelligence space, is the using open standards and IT practices and technologies to implement these solutions, so that they can be incorporated into a variety of workflows, regardless of platform, just like you say, and device and things like that. So, and an example of this is what we've done recently with what we call GeoPackage feature attributes in GeoPDF. So it's one of the more recent innovations on the GeoPDF platform. And that is what we've done, is we've taken the OGC GeoPackage. Open Geospatial Consortium has recently created a specification for a geospatial database, portable geospatial database. And so what we've done is we've inside a publisher, we allow you to take the feature attributes that are going to be embedded into the document and embed that as an OGC GeoPackage. And we use PDF's file attachment mechanism. So any software that understands file attachments, any software that understands GeoPackage, or even more broadly, just spatial light, can then pull that information out and then use it for whatever purpose. So it is highly interoperable. It's all based on standards and standard IT practices. And that's one of the most compelling reasons for its uptake in a wide variety of workflows.
Is that the tagline of TerraGo is share anywhere. So how is TerraGo living up to this tagline, and what can we expect from TerraGo in the next few months and a year?
Okay, well, so we've had a few taglines over the years, and I really like this one the best, because it really does get to the heart of what it is we try to do. And that is make it possible to share, especially, our focus has been on geospatial information for a long, long time, and will continue to be. But how can you take these investments that you've made in GIS and geospatial technologies and make sure that they get disseminated into every aspect of your enterprise, on every device, every kind of workflow and context? And the Esris of the world have got the traditional GIS space locked up very, very well. They provide excellent tools for the GIS-oriented workflow, and that's their focus. What we're trying to do is get past those boundaries, sharing anywhere, not just within the Esri ecosystem or BAE Systems ecosystem or a Intergraph ecosystem or something like that. How do you get something that you can share anywhere? And so that's what we've been working on. What to look for going forward, we're very, very excited about this Edge initiative, this new product and capabilities. The group sourcing concept is very exciting, trying to get more awareness of, and again, getting back to what I mentioned before, how ubiquitous all the news is with UAVs and drones and things like this, but organizations have a massive network of sensors that they're not taking advantage of today. And so if you could realize that every person inside of an organization can contribute in meaningful ways to the running of that company by serving as a sensor, I think the companies that are forward-leaning, who can solve the bring your own device BYOD problems, get those solved, and start taking advantage of their distributed workforce, are going to have significant opportunities over the companies that don't. And we want to be at the forefront of helping those forward-leaning companies make that jump.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on GeoWiz.